Shalom Aleichem, Shavua Tov, and the continuation of Purim, not only Purim Mishulash, not only the triangular Purim that we experienced this year, giving us 3 days of rejoicing and celebration, bringing us, as the Rebbe tells us, the most greatest amount of achdus, of unity, possible when we during a year that we celebrate when we celebrate Purim, because this brings all the places that are not surrounded by a wall from the times of Yeshua ben Nun, the places that are surrounded by a wall from the times of Yeshua ben Nun, such as Yerushalayim, to be all united. And we have read the Megillah, as most probably everyone knows, together on the 14th of Adar. This is one of the greatest ways of removing the claim that Haman the wicked had in regard to the fact that he calls us Yeshnei Am Echad, there is one nation, but he tells Achashverosh Mefurad Mefuzar Ben Ha'amim. They are fragmented and they are spread all over amongst your nations. He wanted to say that we don't have the achdus, we don't have unity, chas v'sholom. And when Am Yisrael has unity, then we see our greatest of strength. Then we see the time, the most auspicious period in our history, in our lives, that Hashem says to us, as we say in the prayers every day, Barucheinu Avinu Kulanu Ke'echad. Bless us, our Father, all of us as one. When Hashem sees that all His children are at peace with one another, and we are all united, then Hashem has even greater desire to go and to bless us and all the blessings that we need, materially, spiritually, and first and foremost, the blessing that we have been waiting for so long, the revelation of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach, and should be techef umiyad mamish. Our story this week deals with a not small miracle, a not small miracle connecting with the ability to and the opportunity for each and every one of us to connect with the Rebbe by writing the Rebbe and asking for the Rebbe's blessing and advice through the Igros Kodesh, the famous volumes of the Rebbe's letters. And this is something that a person can do either in his own home or online in his own home as well. This story occurred in a very strange way, because the entire story we see occurs in one Erev Shabbos, one eve of Shabbat, which I'll mention at the end, one of the greatest miracles. But for the entire story to begin and to culminate on Friday, it's not so simple. Anyway, there was a couple, and this couple got up early in the morning, as they used to. They were used to on Friday morning, and they're preparing the sandwiches and everything, that the backpacks for their children, to see them off to school early Friday morning. And as they go out the door, so the couple goes back, and they sit back to their early Friday morning, which they don't have. They're deprived usually during the week, but Friday morning they have a time to sit down quietly and to have a cup of coffee together, the husband and the wife. Great. The husband bends down into the dishwasher looking for two mugs. And as he's bending down, his wife looks at him and she says, "Shimon." He says, "Yes." He says, What is that mark that you have on the back of your neck?" He says, "Mark? What are you talking about?" So she says, "No, you have a you definitely have a mark that I haven't noticed ever in the past on the back of your neck." And he says, what are you talking about? There's no mark on my. So she takes out her phone and she she wants to prove to him that there's something there. And she takes a picture of the mark, and he looks at it, and there, yo and behold, there is definitely a mark that developed on the back of his neck. He starts thinking to himself, well, maybe it's a birthmark that suddenly, the shade changed, it became a little darker. Or then he says, well, maybe it's an insect bite that started to bulge. uh, with all that, his wife looks at him and she says to him, "Do me a favor, send the picture to the local health clinic and ask them to look into it." And then he started to try to try to talk his wife out of it. It's Erev Shabbos. Now's not the time. She says, "Please do me a favor. allow me to calm down." So he says, "Fine, okay." He sends it over to the health clinic online, and and the and he says, within minutes, they sent him back a reference, and they're referring it to a skin doctor, a professional skin doctor, to see his opinion. In the meantime, till the skin doctor gets back to our friend Shimon, this is his name. So he goes online on his computer, and he starts looking and making comparisons in regard to what is posted online and the mark that he has on the back of his neck. And as he looks one mark and another mark and a third mark, he he slinks more and more down into his chair. What's the problem? Apparently, it looks that every time he goes to another mark that resembles the mark on the back of his neck, he gets more and more bad news, to the extent that it could be a matter of life and the opposite of life. He's really uneasy, and he doesn't know what's going to be. But in the meantime, all of a sudden, the phone rings. Phone rings, and the skin doctor, the professional, is on the other side of the line. The doctor says, "I would like you to immediately come down to the clinic in order for me to be able to go in to check the mark on the back of your neck." Okay. If it's that, if it's that urgent that the doctor says that Erev Shabbos right now, Friday morning, he has to go over to the clinic. So he does it. As he's going and he's thinking, when he has so many different thoughts rushing through through his head, all of a sudden, before he goes out the door, he says, "Wait, I have to go and I have to write the Rebbe. I have to ask the Rebbe for a blessing and the Rebbe's advice in regard to this situation." He he makes all the preparations in order to write the Rebbe. He washes his hands six times, and he gives a charity, gives tzedakah. He makes a good resolution, and he writes the details of everything he knows, and up till now, he writes the details, and he sends it, and he puts the letter into the 20th volume in the Igros Kodesh. Okay. He opens up he makes the Achrozas HaKodesh. He makes he says the proclamation of Yechi Adonenu, Moreinu v'Rabbeinu, Melech Ha'Moshiach Leilam Voed 3 times. He opens up and he sees a very surprising letter. First of all, the letter is dated Erev Shabbos Kodesh, the eve of Shabbos, which immediately gave him a good feeling, because he sees the date is actually the same date of the week, same day of the week that he's writing. the eve of Shabbos, Friday. And then he looks into he looks into the details of the letter, and the letter is it reads the contents of the letter reads as follows. In a good and desirable time, I will mention him at the resting place of my father-in-law, the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe. And then the Rebbe continues uh, that the instructions of our rabbis and leaders are eternal, and the Rebbe quotes this one of the sayings: "Tracht gut, wird sein gut." Think good, and it will be good. Not bad. It's getting better. And then the Rebbe goes and wishes the person that the letter is addressed to, that he should be able to give over good news in regard to the contents of the letter that he has written. In other words, good news, to give over good news in the future. And then the Rebbe goes and says a very interesting, gives a very interesting instruction. The Rebbe says that he should spread the Torah of Hashem in every single place that he is able to reach. Every single place that he's able to reach, he should spread the Torah of Hashem. And then the Rebbe says something even more incredible. The Rebbe says, for the sake of, in order to go and to spread the Torah, so it states very clearly, Zkukim leguf bori v'sholem. One has the need for a healthy and complete body, and shemidarke Hashemhu. This is quoting from Maimonides, from Rambam. It is from the ways of Hashem that a person should make sure, and a person should see to it that his body should be healthy and complete. Great. So here, of course, he was he was even more inspired, and he took upon himself another good resolution to go and to strengthen his spreading of Torah and mitzvahs wherever he's able to reach, and to make sure that his body is healthy and well. Great. Shimon closed the book, and he felt much better, but he still had something that was ailing him. What was bothering him? Because he was thinking again and again that the Rebbe didn't say or exclusively bless him with a refuah shlema, with a complete recovery, a complete healing. The Rebbe said that in order to go and to spread Torah, the Torah says that we need a healthy and complete body. And this is from the ways of Hashem, that we should have a healthy and complete body. But he was bothered with the fact that it wasn't a direct blessing for a refuah shalema. It wasn't an exclusive blessing for healing, for getting well. As he was on his way to the clinic, so he decided that he's going to go and to ask the advice of one of his good friends, and this particular friend also runs an online access to the Igros Kodesh of the Rebbe in different languages, most exclusively in Russian. So he calls this person. His name is Rabbi Lugov, Shalom Lugov of Kfar Chabad. And he tells him the entire story, and he tells him also the answer that the Rebbe gave him from the Igros Kodesh. Rabbi Lugov thinks for a moment, and he says very optimistically, he says, listen, it seems to be quite clear. As far as you're concerned, So yes, there's no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in my mind that you uncovered the urgency to go into and to deal with your health matter, your health issue, and it's very important to go into to take care of the of everything in the channels of nature, going to the clinic, going seeing the doctor. But when the Rebbe is coming and giving you the blessing, when does the Rebbe give a blessing for a refuah shalema, for a complete recovery? When a person is ill, when a person is not well, when there's something that is definitely not okay with the person's health, then the Rebbe comes and says that the person should have a complete recovery. But when we're talking about a person, as in your case, in your situation, who is to say that you're not well? You weren't by the doctor yet. The doctor didn't come and give you any, excuse me, diagnosis. Apparently, there's nothing wrong with you, and you have yet to receive the good news, as the Rebbe says, and be able to go and to spread the good news from the contents of your letter. Okay, the our friend here, Shimon, is he gets very excited from the idea, but he's still a little uneasy. What can you do? What can a person do in his situation? He goes to the doctor. He sits down. The doctor takes a biopsy, and he starts checking in his office. He has like a mini lab, for immediate a knowledge of what's going on with this mark that was found on the back of his neck. And he looks and he investigates, and the findings at the end of all his checking, the findings were as follows. He says there is a scar on the back of his neck, of Shimon's neck, but apparently there's nothing at least that is revealed to the eye that he has to worry about. And the scar is a scar of the mark is a mark, but it's not a mark that a person should worry about as far as anything immediate and even not immediate. Apparently, everything is okay. He was there's no greater joy, it says. Ein simcha kehatarat hasfekot. There's no greater joy than when a person is removes any doubts from his mind. And now the doctor removed the doubt in regard to his health, and Shimon was feeling much better. He's walking back home, and when he returns home, he opens up the Igros Kodesh where he received the reply of the Rebbe, and he looks over the letter again. And as he's looking over the letter, he sees that there is actually a footnote on the bottom of the letter that he overlooked because he was in a rush. What does the footnote say? The footnote says, and I'll translate, regard to the letters as they are printed. So it goes together. Kol shemitivin loy, that anyone that from heaven is benefited with goodness. Anyone that was benefited with goodness from heaven. Hareze le'erech yomim v'shonim teves. This benefit that the person receives from heaven is not just a one-time thing. It's not a one-time shot, but it is le'erech yomim v'shonim teves for the length of good days and years to come. In other words, that this blessing is an eternal blessing. Obviously, they all celebrated a fantastic, amazing, and wonderful Shabbos, that Shabbos, especially with the signature that we just read, and the Eibusher should help that we should be able to go and to continue the joy and the happiness of Purim throughout the entire year, And first and foremost, when we're talking about Purim, it's the known halacha, the known law. Kol peshet yad neisnim lei. Anyone that stretches out his hand. So we have a halacha, we have a law that we are meant to give that person whatever we're able to give in regard to charity. And when we're talking about the laws, so Hashem is the first and foremost who says he is the one that fulfills and adheres to all the mitzvahs of the Torah. And so also when we stretch out our hand to Hashem, and especially now in the month of Adar, and we ask, and we not only ask, but we demand from Hashem. We ask and we demand from Hashem, we want the revelation of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach immediately now. There's no doubt that Hashem also adheres to the mitzvahs of the Torah, and he obviously from Miyado Hamleya Apsucha Kadesh V'Archova goes and gives the charity that the entire Jewish nation is asking and demanding for, and it should be Teichef Miyad. It should be immediately Teichef Miyad Mamash Mamash Mamash. Yechi Adonenu Moreinu V'Rabbeinu HaMelech HaMoshiach Chai V'Kayom Le'olam Voed. Amen.